This is Margaret in Windsor. The name that I was given when I was kidnapped in 41 from Buckingham Palace is Peggy and Dempsey, married named Childers. And I put that on other videos previously. What I wanted to center on here is I've written about mind control. Other than finding out about my kidnapping, I wrote about mind control murders. It's used as a weapon. You can either program people to kill, or you can create an illness for them. You could call it psychosomatic, or it's the belief. It's part of it. Or you can cure an illness. And I wanted to focus here because I wrote the book in 77 and 78 in Marietta, Georgia. And I wanted to, I was writing about the murders that had been done and were being done in patterns deliberately. So you would have thought that if that's so, where down the line does it stop and it's told? One of the things that happened was I was at the CDC in that area at Emory, and Dr. Robichaud was at Emory University, was head of psychiatry and law there. He very decent man, and by the way, he died in 80, and I know it was induced. That's not what the autopsy would tell you. He wrote, his last book was The Power of Psychiatry. Now then, the patterns that were being used about that time, it started there, was when the AIDS epidemic started, and they claimed it was in South Africa that it started. Well, no, that's not true. I'm going to give you a big question mark because I'm in enough trouble already, because the truth they don't want told. Center for Disease Control. But the names that followed that, there were about 8 of them, were distinctly in the patterns. Now then, you've got Laura Bush. Her daughter, I believe, is a correspondent for, I don't know if it's NBC, CBS, one of them. Now you got Chelsea, who was married to a Jewish fellow, and she went to Oxford. I didn't. I was too busy taking care of the woman that had killed her twins, and I'd been placed there, and I was told that was my mother. I couldn't believe it either. I never did. I never bought it. I hated her guts. She was mean, horrible. I had a beautiful mother and father that were taken from me, and I was taken from them, and I'm getting away from the First Ladies. The sudden push on, well, it's always been, but on South Africa. Let me remind you the Westgate Mall shootings there in Kenya. Kenya was a British colony. And that's where Elizabeth found that she became the illegal she might be monarch, but she's there. Her dad died while she was vacationing in Kenya. So, question mark, big one, why is Kenya now controlled by the Jews and by the United States, who trained their elite forces there in Kenya? Also, the Jews went in there and took out the shooters and all that. Except there's a problem. Those were the people, the shooters, were part of being programmed to go there. It was meant to be for exactly what happened. The input of the Israelis, and it doesn't have to, they're using it all over the world, mind control. It's not just sitting here in America and they're using it on themselves. There's no limit to how many people you can program. It's almost, well, I'm getting off on this, it's almost like that where people punch in and have this mass show up at one side or I don't know, place and do things. But anyway, Um, you can program as many, they become warriors, people do, or puppets without their knowledge. The other thing I wanted to say is in Rhodesia, which had a name change, and it was a British colony, and the United States, Andrew Young, who was ambassador to the UN, appointed by good old Jimmy Carter, who was there in Atlanta as governor while I'm writing the book. And how's that? He knew about me. He's been through Roanoke. How's that? Right out there in little old Trapville at a McDonald's, he and his wife and security. And I wonder if they wanted to come up and meet me up on the mountain while I was starving, freezing. You said it. But anyway, Jimmy Carter appointed Andrew Young to the UN ambassador. Well, Andrew Young went into South Africa and Rhodesia, and he has an input of money. He gets all kinds of help going in there, and it all looks good, you know, except they're stealing everything from the British. And I mean, what else can you steal when you've stolen the monarch also, and you've installed your own America? That's Elizabeth. That says it right there. So you have Nelson Mandela, and you have to make the word colony sound bad in order to overthrow it. And the United States goes in looking like the good guy. Oh, that's diamonds there. Let's see. Elizabeth had diamonds, didn't she? The crown jewels. Makes you wonder what extent people will go to for money and power. Because right now, Elizabeth's part of the New World Order. And that's what's going on up there at the UN. You either join them or you got big problems. So if you turn around and tell about the United States use of mind control, hey, isn't the United States trying to take out the thought? Anybody steps in the way, your history, their history. So back to Bush, First Lady, and she's gotten some First Ladies together, I believe. I just heard a snippet of it, but anyway, she's got all these pharmaceuticals, and they're going into South Africa. And you know, this whole thing is seriously that you can, with mind control, you can